This is Danny with QuadLugs, and we did a little bit of repair work for one of our customers, and we got everything fixed up. So I want to show you a few things that I did. First thing is the washers go on the top of the props when you mount them. And of course, this is going to be a configuration. This is mounting the props, what it looks like. Clockwise, counter, clockwise, counter. The other thing that I did is that the ESC was plugged in backwards, so it kind of blew the capacitor, one of the capacitors. So I went ahead and changed this. This is a 30 amp instead of the standard 25 that comes with it. I just didn't have another one like that, so I went ahead and put the 30 on. So we're all good there. Inside, the wires had been changed out to a single wire going to the control, which you can do, but this is what we furnish, and I went ahead and changed it back to what it, originally was designed to, how it was designed to be installed, so I did that. The controller was miswired, so, if you don't mind, just take a look on the video, and you may have to watch it 2 or 3 times, but, that was the problem on the wiring. It just wasn't wired properly. The other thing I did was I went ahead and changed the box out because the other one was getting pretty ratty, so it'd been around the block a little bit, so I went ahead and changed the box out so it looked a little bit nicer. The plug, and this is where the problem came about, is that he had a little bit of a hard time putting it in or installing it. So I didn't have any of these as extras, so what I did, I went ahead and mounted or soldered a HT60 on. So that's what this is. And you'll be able to use the battery that was sent out to you with this connector with this adapter. But if you get more batteries, and most of them, or you can get them, they're real readily available with the HT60 already on there, so you'll have it here to use. Also, I think you guys had a little bit of a hard time putting the connector on the lead to the charger, so I did the same thing. I mounted a HT60, and I have you another one of these, so you're covered on both sides. Other than that, I think that's about it. Like I said, I changed the box out, so it looks a little bit better. The other thing I would recommend is that I used one of my transmitters. So when you get it back, you'll have to go ahead and bind it, put the bind plug in and bind it to your radio. And then I would go ahead and go to do the receiver test if you want to go through the video again. If you're not familiar with it, and go ahead and do the receiver test again on the controller to make sure the directions, the direction of the sticks are proper whenever you rebind it, just to make sure. And I would go ahead and do a ACC calibration again. Other than that, you ought to be good to go. I would go ahead and mount the battery in here like this, and I'll show you why, because with having the extension on there, just makes a lot better, makes a really nice job of connecting it, so it stays down, looks really nice like that. The other thing I would recommend too, and I may have already said it in the video, but I would put a piece of painter's tape on here because it won't mess up the box if you fly it pretty hard. If you don't, it'll do a good job without that, so it should stay down for you. One of the other things too I'd like to mention is that whenever you go to plug in your battery, if you're not familiar with it, go ahead and turn your transmitter on first, then plug in the battery, and when you finish up, unplug the battery, then turn your transmitter off. You always want to have the transmitter, you know, first on, last off. Other than that, I think that's about it. Rebind, check your, do a receiver test again on it, make sure everything's, all the directions are going the right way with the sticks. ACC calibration, and you should be good. So we're going to go ahead and fly this thing. Okay, we're going to go ahead and it's got a little breeze here today, but I'll show you how good it flies, even with a little bit of wind. We're probably 7 to 11 miles per hour at times here. But what we're going to do, what you want to do also, rather, is I would make sure that the stabilization is on, and you know there's a switch on your receiver that controls that, and you can look on the controller, and you'll see it on or off. Just make sure it's on until you can fly really well. The other thing we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and check the rotation on the props again, and then we're going to lift it up with a little bit of power. You want to make real slow movements all the time, really, until you get really comfortable with it. So we're going to give it a little bit of power, and we're going to lift up a little bit, make sure you feel comfortable and everything's cool with it. And then we're going to fly it for a little while and bring it back down. So we're going to arm it. We're going to give it a little bit of power. We're going to check rotation. Everything looks right. There we go. Front left is clockwise. And the front right is counter. Back right, clock. Left back is counterclockwise. Okay, we're going to go ahead and lift it up. There we go. Now we got some wind heading right to us, so it's got to be corrected all the time because of that. So let's take it for a spin. We have some pretty good gusts here, but you can see it handles it real well. Pretty good gust every once in a while. So if you're just learning, you do not want to fly in this for right now. I think we're getting a lot more than 10 miles an hour gust. But so you want a fairly calm day, for learning. Also, when it's coming towards you, everything, all the controls are opposite, or backwards. So you can pick up some, duct tape, and you get it in different colors. You can get it at a craft store or a home improvement. And they have checkerboard, which that's what I normally use, a yellow and black checkerboard. It shows up real well. Or basically any color you want, just so you can put it on the front of the box, and you'll always know, which is front. So it's good for orientation. After you fly it a while, orientation you won't have a problem with it. Anyway, there it is. And hopefully we'll have a little bit calmer day, but it's flying good. Everything's working really good. So I just wanted to show you, and have fun with it. That's the main thing. Be safe, and have fun with it. That's what it's meant for. Again, this is Danny with QuadLugs, and